Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Diary of a Female Sports Agent. Today, we're going to talk about NIL, name, image, and likeness. So, the title of our show for today is NIL. It's not a game, but how to win it. So, a long time ago, well, really not that long ago, when an athlete would enter into the collegiate not even just collegiate, but basketball. At one point in time, athletes went to school, basically played sports, and that was it for them. They could not make any money. They would get in trouble if they accepted funds from a school, a booster, or anything like that. And some players, like, they really lost eligibility, they lost scholarships, they lost a lot of things because they took money when they weren't supposed to. And when I was younger, I always thought that why is it that the NCAA, the coaches, the schools make all of this money on the backs of the athletes, but the athletes can't make any money? That just never made sense to me. And I just wondered why that was. And I felt like it was greed. They just didn't want to share the pot with the athletes. It's basically, you come here, you get this compulsory education, and that's all we're going to give you. And you're going to go out here and you're going to make us a whole lot of money, and you're going to leave with a degree. And that's just how it was. If you wanted to play collegiate sports, if you wanted to make an attempt to go and play somewhere professional, this was the road. You had to go through college, and you had to be, picked or whatever from by the professional team. Well, all of that changed in January of 2021. So the state of California passed a law that athletes can make money off of their name, image, and likeness. And so hence the acronym NIL. So California is one of those states where the cost of living is really, really expensive. A lot of the schools there are really, really expensive. And so they have a lot of money to be able to be able to pay athletes. And so when this law was passed, I was really, really happy for the athletes. I was really happy because it allowed the athletes to be able to play, have some money, be able to help their families if their family needed it, start a business, start a brand, do many, many different things with the money. What I found, though, was that's not exactly what was happening with the money. I've seen a lot of kids who I know got NIL money without seeing it actually. And the next thing you know is they got a chain, they got a car, they have a dog. Um, and there's nothing wrong with buying any of those things for yourself. Is nothing wrong with that. Don't get that twisted. Is nothing wrong with that. However, if you're making millions of dollars in NIL money, not only just college, but high school, some high school athletes are making that kind of money as well. You need to take advantage of that opportunity as an athlete. They need to take advantage of that opportunity to start a brand, grow a business, make some investments, do some things that are where the money will still be around even after the game is not. Because for everyone, that game ends one day. And I just want athletes to be more proactive in their approach to their spending and their investing, and being mindful of how they're directing this money. Most athletes are in college. I'm just gonna talk about the college. Well, no, I could talk about, well, no, I'm gonna talk about college. So if you are a college player and you have NIL money and you've never had that kind of money in your life, you need to take some business classes, you need to take some financial literacy classes. You really need to understand money and how it works, because if you don't understand money and how it works, you're going to be broke. You're going to be broke and you're not going to have anything. And what if you play in college for 4 years and then you don't go pro? Then what? It's all for naught. So if you take advantage of the opportunities that you have when you have it and you do the right thing with it, educate yourself. Go take some business classes while you're in college. Every 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 major, you have to take elective classes, right? So when you decide on your electives, take something like financial literacy or intro to business, or something that doesn't have a prereq that you can get into so that you can learn how to take care of this money so it stays around. It is not just around for your college days, and it's not just around for fun stuff, but it can last you your entire life if you do the correct thing with it. I know that was a mouthful, right? Yeah. So let me pause a minute and take the time to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Also hit the bell icon and you'll be notified when we upload content. Um, we're going to upload weekly. However, there are instances where we will maybe upload something kind of in between that week. If something happens in the entertainment sports industry, we'll come on and talk about that stuff as well. Leave any comments that you may have. Um, if you have any questions, all of those links, if you want to contribute to the channel, all of those links are in the description box. And thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I don't take anything for granted, and I just thank you for it. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at my computer a lot now. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is my bracelet keep hitting this table. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to talk about is let me see what I want to talk about first. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is some of the mistakes that athletes may make when they get this kind of money. If you're a person who's never had this kind of money before, and all of a sudden this kind of money is dumped in your lap, you really don't know what to do with it. You got to learn what to do with it, because again, you need this money to stay around even after the game is over. Okay. So some of the mistakes that I have seen athletes make are they make decisions solely on money. So I got $100,000 NIL deal. I'm going to buy me a $50,000 car, and then I'm gonna buy a $20,000 chain, and now you down to $30,000. So they make their decisions solely on money. Oh, I got this money. Okay, I'm gonna go buy that. Um, Things that don't increase in value are the things that they buy. I understand completely. If you haven't had this kind of money before and you see something that you always wanted to buy, I understand. I have the money now. I can go buy it now, but I just ask you to be realistic about how much money you're spending on frivolous things. That's all. Just be mindful of how much you're spending. Another thing is they don't invest. So that goes back to taking the business classes and educating yourself on financial literacy. You need to know about money in order to be able to do the right things with it, right? So if you take a business class or you take a financial literacy class, you're going to be better equipped to handle this money once you get it. I I don't think that I've ever, and this is not to say that it has not happened. I'm not saying that. I'm saying from what I've witnessed, what I've witnessed. It's no investing going on. Is no investing going on. It's just buy. And eventually the NIL is going to stop, right? Because you only in school, let's say college 4 years, some people 4. Let's just go with the norm 4. And after 4 years, that money's going to be up, right? So what happens when the money stops coming in? Have you planned correctly for that? That's what I want you to think about. Um Another mistake that I see is they don't develop a brand. So when you're developing a brand, this represents you as an athlete. And so when you get all this money, you need to start thinking about how people look at you, because your brand is how people look at you. No matter what you're doing, no matter what you're saying, no matter who you have around you, your brand is you. And so you want to make sure that the things you say, the things you do, the people you hang around with line up with the brand that you are trying to portray, right? So you have to decide what that is. Nobody can decide that for you. So you have to decide what your own brand is and stick to it. I've seen athletes listen to the wrong people. So I think I don't even know if he was listening to anybody, but we had an incident in the NBA draft this year where a player said they didn't want to play for a team and told them not to draft him. I believe that he told them not to draft him, and they drafted him anyway. And he didn't show up. Normally that first round pick is in that city the next day. He wasn't in that city the next day. He eventually ended up going because he understood this is your job now. This is not NIL. This is not NIL. This is the NBA. And if you don't bring your ass to work, you're not going to get paid. So he'll have a choice, but to get there eventually. But I don't know who was advising him on that whoever those people were that were telling him, if there were people telling him not to go, he probably shouldn't listen to those people ever again, right? And then the last thing and it's more stuff, but it's okay. I'm gonna talk about 2 more. So another thing mistakes that I see made are um not having an attorney to review contracts. So anything that you sign as an athlete should be reviewed by an attorney. Not all agents are attorneys, and that's okay because that's what you hire attorneys for. So if you're not one, then you hire one. It's simple. Um if you're an athlete and you have this kind of money and you've come into millions of dollars, you should have an attorney on retainer, period, anyway. For anything that may come up, you need to have an attorney, but specifically for your NIL contracts, you should have an attorney or someone who is well versed in contracts, your agent and attorney, to review the contract to make sure that it's nothing in there that you don't want to be in there. So you want to make sure of that. Another thing, the last thing I'm going to talk about as far as mistakes that an athlete can make is taxes. Hmm. So yeah, taxes are a big, big, big thing. You need to understand the tax implications of receiving this money. So you're going to need an accountant, you're going to need a tax person. Taxes are based on where you go to school, where you live, where you plan to file. Everything is different. So you need to you need a professional tax person to be able to tell you, where you should be filing this tax at, or if you should even be filing taxes in this place and all that. So make sure you get you a licensed tax professional to be able to assist you with that. Okay. All right. So let's move to let's see. Let's move to the parents. Okay. So as a parent of someone, an athlete who has an NIL deal that's a really high valuation, you need to make sure that your athlete is surrounded by the right professionals, the agent, the attorney, if needed. If the agent is not an attorney, agent, attorney, accountant, financial advisor. You have to make sure that your athlete, your student athlete, is protected in that way. So those people need to be vetted, and you need to make sure that they have the best interest of your athlete at heart. It's business, as in any other business. It can be very cutthroat, it can be very cruel. I tell you, as a parent, me, a parent, I'm going to learn what's going on in this business. I'm going to learn financial literacy. I'm going to learn business practices. I'm going to learn how to build a brand. So all of those things that need to be learned, you as a parent, you need to learn them as well, because you can't know if a person is advising your child properly if you don't know yourself. So I tell all parents, no matter what, learn business, learn financial literacy. You need that. You need that. You just need it in your everyday life. But especially if you're going to be looking after this kind of money, you definitely need to learn those things. Financial literacy is basically, you can find financial literacy classes everywhere. Everywhere. You can take them at your local community college, you know, everywhere. Business, intro to business, local community college. Just get the basics so that you can understand and be able to lead and guide and be able to cover your athletes when other people are helping them make decisions, what whether it's wrong or right. I mean, as a mom, we have that intuition, like, no, I don't think that's a good thing to do. But at the same time, you still need to be well versed in, business and that kind of acumen as well. All right. And don't be driven by money. I do understand that a lot of families, this NIL money is like the only money that they've ever seen in their life, like this kind of money. So this is the reason why I say take the classes, make sure so your child won't be squandering money. So the money can last them for a long time, as opposed to them just having it while they're in school. So just do that, please. Parents, do that. Moms, dads, please do that for your athlete. The most important thing as a parent that you want to do is make sure that mentally your child is good, because sports, and I was listening to a podcast, and Deval Ellis was on there, and he made a comment that when you become an athlete, it's one of those things where you're always comparing yourself to the next person. And in that, you have to, as the parent, make sure that your child is mentally okay. So if they have a bad game, make sure they're good. If they made a bad decision financially, make sure they're good. Make sure that their mental status is always good. We have to do that as parents. We have to make sure their mental is good. If they're mentally not good, then that's going to throw everything else off. Try to help them get on a schedule, try to help them manage their NIL deals or find someone who can, because it's a lot being a athlete, especially in college. High school is too, but especially in college, it's a lot. And so they just need the tools to be successful. And so as the parent, it's up to you to make sure that they have, those tools. All right. And so with that being said, I wrote a book. It's an ebook on NIL. Now, the book doesn't get released until next Friday, which is August the 22nd, 2025. Okay. And if you're listening to this video, it's an ebook. If you're listening to this video and you want a copy of my new book, the name of the book is NIL, Your Playbook for Building and Profiting from Your Brand. So it gives um, real information on, how to build a brand, all about NIL, how it came about. It talks about NCAA rules regarding NIL, testing the waters. It talks about that a little bit. It goes through each state, what the rules are in each state as far as NIL for high school and college. It also tells you the agent rules for those particular states. Some states, the agent has to be licensed, some states they don't. And it talks about tax implications. It talks about hiring an agent. It talks about having the conversation, the NIL conversation with your coach. It talks about a lot of different things. It's a section in there for parents as well. So if you want the book before next Friday and you're listening to this video, you can email me. Email me at diaryofafemalesportsagent@gmail.com and simply say, I would like to receive a copy of the book, and I will send you a free copy of the book. This is only until August the 21st, 2025. After August the 21st, 2025, you're going to have to purchase the book. Again, if you want a copy of the book, you can email me at diaryofafemalesportsagent@gmail.com and I will send you a copy of my new book. All right. And so let's get into this week in the diary. So this week, let me pull up these articles that I wanted to talk about. I thought I already had this stuff up, but I guess I didn't. So let me see. Okay, here we go. Um, yeah. So this article came from CNN. I'm not even a news type person, but if I want to tell you guys information that's being reported, I have to go. I have to read this stuff. And so, Shakari Richardson was arrested I think it was last week, for assaulting her boyfriend in an airport. And apparently, this guy is a member of the track and field team as well. I think I read that. So yeah, she got locked up for fighting her boyfriend in the airport. I don't know what kind of altercation would make you do that in public like that, but we have to we as women, now if she was the one who got locked up, that tells me that she was the aggressor. That's what that tells me. I will say this. Women, you have got to stop hitting these men. You've got to stop doing that. I don't think that he hit her back or anything like that. I don't think that he did that. But you have got to stop hitting these men and expecting them not to hit you back. Stop doing that. You should not do that. Don't hit people. Don't hit people. When my kids were little, I don't care if they were male or female. If you hit somebody, they can hit you back. And I'm not promoting any kind of violence or anything, but keep your damn hands to yourself. Like, why are you fighting? Why are you swinging on people? Come on now, people have a right to defend themselves. Let's get real. Like, stop doing that. Just stop. Stop doing that. So she issued an apology to him. She loves him and she can't apologize enough. So I'm just saying, baby, stop swinging on these men. Just stop it. Stop. Just stop. All right, so let me see. Venus Williams gets a U.S. Open wild card at age 45 and will be the oldest singles since 1981. I don't know who was in 1981. Anyway, so Venus is 45 and she's going to be playing in the U.S. Open under a wild card this year. I'm all for this right here because who said just because she's 45 that she can't do this? I don't like how we put so much emphasis on age, restrictions on age or when you can do things. It's okay to continue in your career at 45 and it's okay to start a new career at 45. Whatever it is that you decide to do, do it. It do it. Just do it. Just do it. So good for her. She'll be playing this year in the US Open. So good for her. Okay, good for her. I'm glad to see it. So the last article is Jaren Jackson Jr. So Jaren Jackson, God, I probably was watching his dad play. So Jaren Jackson, that's aging myself. So Jaren Jackson Jr. Um, he's with the Memphis Grizzly. He's with Memphis. Oh God. And so this year he wore number 13. And so this year he's changing his number to number 8. Now, I do have something to say about that 13. So the number 13, we have been taught in Western civilization that it's a bad thing, it's a jinx, it's this, it's this, it's this. It's not that. The number 13 represents the divine feminine. So please stop associating the 13 with something negative, something mean, something evil. That's not what that is. That's not correct. And please stop allowing people to make you think that. Do your own research. Find out for yourself. If somebody tells you something, you should be trying to find it out for yourself anyway, no matter what it is. All right. So he's changing his number to number 8. And so I think that was his dad's number as well. Yeah, his dad wore number 8 for the Clippers back in 92, 93. So he's going to be changing his number to number 8. So it is August, so we got a few months before NBA season starts. I'm excited about that. I think I'm gonna be traveling to some games this year. So one of my goals is to go to every arena and watch a game. So I've been to a few, and so that's what I'm going to do. All right. Let me see what else I have here to talk about. Okay, so the next segment, and I've changed these segments. Just bear with me because this is a whole new channel, and some things are changing, things are evolving, and they're evolving quickly. So we did this week in the diary, that will stay a segment. And so the next thing is faith over fear. So the mind is faith over fear, the mindset of a winner. So it's NFL preseason. It's basically preseason for NCAA basketball as well. Um, and so I want players to always have faith over fear. It's so easy to get caught up and comparing yourself to the next person, to the person that plays your position as well, thinking somebody's going to take your spot. I say to you, try as much as possible to get that out of your head. and just have faith that everything is going to be okay, and it's going to be enough time for everybody to play. All right. So we just have to have that mindset. Mindset changes things. And so we have to learn how to manifest things through our mindset, through our words, through our actions. So just make sure that you're doing that. All of the players that I know that are playing right now, cuts are coming up for the NFL. I think next week they have to have their 53-man roster. I think it's 53. It's 53. 53-man roster by, I want to say the 22nd, but it's somewhere near coming up. So they need to do that. All right. And so just keep your head up, keep striving towards your goal. And just keep going. Just keep going. One no is not a permanent no. So just keep going. So the next one is the money play. So the money play, this is everybody, everybody, everybody needs to learn about money. You need to learn how to invest money. You need to learn how to save money. You need to learn how to do everything there is to be done with money. Everybody needs to learn that. Everybody needs to learn that. I learned about money later on in life. If I had learned about money like at a young age, honey, let me tell you, things would be a whole lot different right now. But nevertheless, please learn about money. Take a financial literacy class. I have a book. It's called Be Intentional with Your Money, and that link is in the description as well. And it goes through different scenarios um about money. It explains the scenario. It teaches you how to save for those different scenarios, and it's some savings plans in that book. I encourage people to do what I do. I take money out the bank and I put it in the house, because if I can't swipe my card and be able to use it, it's around a little longer. So that's kind of just something that I do for myself that may help you. All right, and then question and answer. We didn't have any questions this week, but that segment will be coming soon. We'll start to get questions eventually. This is only our second episode, and that's okay. Um, Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. So next episode, we are interviewing a mom of an NFL player. I'm not divulging information until you'll see it on the episode. So that episode will be it is titled, hold on, I'm about to tell you in 1 second. Um duh, duh, duh. Okay, so next week's title is called Breaking In: How to Raise a Pro Athlete, a Mom's Perspective. So we'll have a mom who has a son in the NFL, and we're going to talk to her about, some of the things that she went through as a mom, getting him to the point where he was actually drafted by the NFL. So thank you guys for tuning in. Again, on your way out, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, share the video with your friends. Yeah, and I thank you guys. And if you have any questions you want us to answer on the videos, send those questions to diary of a female sports agent at gmail.com. Also, if you would like a copy of my new book, NIL, your playbook for building your brand, that's not it. What's I don't know the title of my own damn book. That's sad. I shouldn't have made it so long. That's the problem. I made the damn title too long. NIL, your playbook for building and profiting from your brand. If you would like a copy of that ebook, you can email me. It's not available for sale yet. It won't be available for sale until August the 22nd. If you would like a copy, I am giving free copies between now and next Thursday, August the 21st, 2025. You can send an email and ask for the book, and I will respond, and you will have a PDF version of the book. Also, if you would like to purchase Be Intentional with Your Money, a book I wrote on financial literacy, you can purchase that book with the link in the bio. That yeah, I don't have the link The link is kind of long for that book, but it is in the description. So if you would like to purchase that book, it's a good book, especially if you're just a high school student or college student, and you want your kid, you want them to learn about money, and you want them to learn how to save, and then you want them to do all of those things. You definitely want to grab a copy of that book. That book is not free. You will have to purchase that one. All right. And thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. Actually, no, I might come in the middle of the week, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But otherwise than that, I'll see you next time. Bye.